Brothers and sisters, it shocks me to the core to have to make this video, but this revelation was given to me and it is horrifying. So we all knew being aligned with Mystery Babylon was going to be trouble, but this goes deeper than any of us ever imagined. So, Satan is revealed to us in scripture as a deceiver who traps people like a hunter traps birds. In Psalm 91:3 it writes about him, saying, "Surely Yahuwah will deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence." Well, a fowler is a hunter of birds who captures them by snares. He uses hidden traps rather than openly pursuing the birds. It's all done by trickery. It's all done by hidden traps and snares. This imagery describes deception, prey caught unaware. In 3 Maccabean, found in the Orthodox Ethio scriptures, the adversary is portrayed as the one who ensnares people by various devices, and he says himself it's like catching birds caught in traps. Text reflects the same imagery as the psalm. The snare of the fowler. And Satan traps the unawares in a variety of different ways, and he explains that firstly he leads humans into a trap by enticing them away from the law of Yahuwah, by giving them a smooth and easy road to travel as an alternative to the narrow path. The narrow path we know leads to salvation, and Yahushua said that it was hard to find and not many find it. And that's because Satan sells his smooth and easy road as a narrow path. But the smooth alternative road leads to our destruction, although those on it mistakenly believe that they're following the narrow path. Satan makes worldly pleasures attractive, using luxury, comfort and ease. He promotes material wealth, such as silver, gold and jewels, money, luxury. He stirs pride and arrogance, creating criticism and judgment in the heart of people, encouraging jealousy, anger and bitterness. He encourages people to use signs and wonders, such as divination of stars and runes, such as superstitions, to deceive the mind, influencing human reasoning and thoughts to stray away from Yahuwah. So all this angel cards and tarot and all this capturing orbs on cameras and all this other stuff, this is all divination, and Satan uses all of that to make you stray away from the true spirit, the spirit of truth, the Ruach HaKodesh. This trapping imagery appears again in prophecy. Babylon's described not merely as a city but a cage filled with corrupted inhabitants. In Revelation 18 it says, "Babylon the Great has fallen and has become the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Those drawn into Babylon are therefore pictured as birds caught inside a trap, a cage, gathered and confined within the snare." In the vision given to Daniel in Daniel 2, a stone cut without human hands strikes the image that represents the worldly kingdoms and the statue of Babylon. A stone was cut without hands which hit the image upon its feet that were made of iron and clay and broke them to pieces. And again it says that stone that hit the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. Judgment begins at the legs and feet, the foundations of the final kingdom that is the Babylonian dominion. Mystery Babylon causes the nations to become intoxicated with the spiritual fornication, and scripture declares all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication in Revelation 18:3. Those who partake become guilty with her. Her fall comes as a violent judgment, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down. Revelation 18:21. And this is why we're repeatedly told over and over again to come out of her, because her punishment is severe. But the only way to come out of her is to overcome the transgressions that Satan traps us in his snare. He uses these things to trap us in the cage of Babylon, and unless we come out, we will share of her punishment. The destruction parallels the imagery of the collective stoning, a judgment falling upon those joined to her corruption. Babylon being the adulterous woman Mystery Babylon explicitly called a harlot. I will show to you the judgment of the great harlot that sits upon many waters, says Revelation 17:1. She commits adultery against the one whom she should have been faithful to. In the Torah, adultery carries the penalty of stoning. Then you will bring them both unto the gate of the city, and you will stone them with stones that they will perish. Deuteronomy 22:24. Thus the harlot imagery connects directly with judicial punishment prescribed for adultery. The Torah also commands the same judgment upon the persistently rebellious and drunken son. Deuteronomy 21:20 says, "This is our son, he is stubborn and rebellious, he is a glutton and a drunkard." The judgment is as follows. He is stoned. You will stone him with stones that he will perish. Deuteronomy 21:21. So yes, the punishment for persistent rebellion and drunkenness has the same judicial outcome as fornication and adultery. So the witnesses of judgment will establish and initiate the stoning. The stone striking the statue's feet in Daniel represents the beginning of the act, the first blow against the guilty kingdom. This is why Yahusha, being the stone cut from the large mountain, uncut with human hands, this is why he has to cast the first stone. Because Yahusha said when the woman was being accused of adultery, that only the one who is without sin amongst them can cast the first stone. He is the sinless one. So he is going to cast the first stone against Babylon. He's the stone that smashes the feet. Our sinless Messiah, described in Isaiah 11 as the one who does not judge after his eyes and ears, not after what he sees and hears, but he has the sevenfold spirit of truth, the sevenfold Ruach HaKodesh. And through that Ruach, through that spirit, through the six senses, wisdom, knowledge, understanding, counsel, might, and reverence, that's how he judges a matter. Judgment will come upon those trapped in Babylon, those hateful and unclean birds trapped by Satan in his snare. Those remaining inside Babylon's cage are judged according to the law. Come out of her, my people, that you not be partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. Weren't we told to overcome? Weren't we told to pray that we would be counted worthy to escape the things that are going to come upon the earth? Those who refuse to come out of her will remain within the snare of the fowler and share in the judgment of Mystery Babylon. Her penalty of stoning for the adultery that she committed against Yahuwah. The stone cut from the mountain, the stone itself originating from divine authority. The stone which the builders rejected, the same has become the head of the corner. That was said in Psalm 118. That stone cut out of the mountain without hands in Daniel 2. That first stone strikes the legs of the image, initiating the collapse of Babylon and the judgment upon all who are joined to her. And these are the transgressions that call for stoning, that will keep us trapped in the cage of Babylon, ready to be stoned on great judgment. So these are all the transgressions that require stoning. Worshipping other allures, other gods, idolatry. That's Deuteronomy 17, 2-5. Enticing others to worship other gods, Deuteronomy 13, 6-10. Blaspheming, cursing, or bringing the name of Yahuwah to nothing, Leviticus 24, 14-16. Practicing as a medium or having a familiar spirit, Leviticus 20, 27. Wizardry or spiritualism, Leviticus 20, 27. Deliberate Sabbath violation, Numbers 15, 32-36. Committing adultery with a virgin betrothed to another person, both parties, they must be punished too, Deuteronomy 22, 23-24. A woman found to be impure after making a marriage covenant. That's like being engaged to somebody and then sleeping with someone else. The accusation having been proven, that's another one that requires the stoning penalty. Deuteronomy 22, 20-21. A persistently rebellious and drunken son, Deuteronomy 21, 18-21. And I would say that this qualifies all addictions of the flesh and any addictions of the mind and spirit, that they become an idol, you see. So I would say that qualifies under the persistently rebellious and drunken son. Guys, we cannot be walking around thinking that we are not caged in Babylon when Satan quite clearly says, and so does the scripture, that Babylon is going to be a cage for every unclean and hateful bird. Well, what makes you unclean in the eyes of the Father? Iniquity. So the hateful part is the pride, judgment and criticism, which Yahushua told us many times not to be like that. If we judge, we will be judged. And the unclean part is not keeping the law. Guys, this ain't good. It dawned on me that I need to do better. Much, much better. There's things in my life that are keeping me caged in Babylon. I have a lot of work to do. And this was absolutely horrifying when this dawned on me how serious this is, guys. We need to really seriously think about our walk, and are we actually doing everything that is required under the headship of the Messiah? Or are we mistakenly on the smoother road thinking that we're doing really well when really it's an illusion? It's just something to think about, because I know I need to do better, and there's other people that I've spoken to, that my friends, like brothers and sisters, are saying the same thing. They're struggling with addiction, they're struggling with like sins of the flesh, and they just can't overcome. But I'm saying, Yahushua said, if we knock, the door will be opened. We can ask for anything in his name. We just have to work on overcoming. And I believe it can definitely be done. Knock on the door and ask in Yahushua's name. Keep trying, keep asking, and eventually your prayers will be answered. We have that promise in Mashiach. If there's one thing that will be answered, it is a longing for a clean heart, a pure heart, and clean deeds, clean hands. That is the circumcision of the heart, to cut away the excess that is not of Yahuwah. Guys, we can do this. comments. Leave comments for prayer requests. I am with you.